Well, hey, y'all.
Hey.
Happy Thursday, a.k.a. Happy
Usually we say it's a pre-Friday, but it's actually our Friday.
Cheers
yeah, we're
to
off
that.
tomorrow. Cheers to that, everybody. Whoop, whoop.
Well, we're kind of off tomorrow. We don't have to work.
Right, but we have something going on, but we'll tell you about that in a minute or two.
In a minute.
In a minute?
In a minute.
Yeah, we got lots going on, which is exciting.
Yeah. How's everybody's week been? Hope everybody's
Hopefully,
good.
Yeah.
Weather's been
Well, we had a beautiful
crap.
Saturday, right? Like last Saturday, I feel like a lot of people in our area.
My calves are still hurting.
His calves are swelling. I feel a lot of people got out and got to enjoy some great stuff, which is really, really awesome.
Totally.
So I'm happy for that. And we were one of those two that we were able to get out, which is really great. So I'm Colleen.
I'm Johnny.
Yeah, and we're the Kill Quest. So
we're the cool kids.
We are the cool kids. That's right.
That's our label. Thanks to Bigfoot.
I know. And welcome to Backcountry Couples.
Right.
So excited for that.
Show that brings you couples from the backcountry.
It does. And the backcountry couples, I mean, we talk about the impact of being a couple, celebrating the backcountry together. We talk about creating memories together. We talk about pushing each other and just kind of
that's
how,
an understatement.
Yeah, I know. And then just how really cool it is, like just to be outside together and kind of share all that fun stuff, which is really awesome.
Totally.
Last week,
yay.
We had, so everybody knows I'm from Canada. Huh?
No way.
Right? I rarely say the word A, and every once in a while he'll like pop that out. But anyways, whatever. Honey.
You get her you get her riled up enough? Oh yeah.
It does flow a little bit after a while. That is true. But
and a few of these too.
Yeah, that is awesome. Last week we had a fishing couple on, and that was our second fishing couple, which I thought first of all was perfect timing because we're getting into ice out, right? Everyone is want to get in the water, which is really cool.
Yeah, they
were like a wealth of knowledge, like
right?
Holy moly, like they knew their stuff, which was really awesome.
I bought my fishing license.
I was gonna say
licenses.
It was encouraging because we're like, yeah, we just got our fishing license now, so we're good there.
So we are good for the season.
So if you get an opportunity, please go check out
the Rewind Angler Duo,
Justin and Rhea. And they were really fun to have on the show. And like
and
I said,
and their future little angler.
Yeah, they have a little guy, which is really cute. Their personal best, we called it. I like that.
Right.
But no, that was the first time that we had interviewed anybody in
a fishing boat.
In a boat. So they did their interview from their fishing boat. And I was like, that actually was pretty smart. So
heck yeah.
Kudos for you. That was really cool.
We always like to thank our sponsor.
Yeah.
Mick
we do
Fire
have a
Starters.
Mick action going on here.
So yeah. Patrick and his team out there.
Yeah, so these are all natural fire starters that each of our guests get. So we're going to be shipping them out to our guests this week. They're all natural fire starters made in the Pacific Northwest. They burn for 20 minutes. They're super lightweight if you're backpacking. They are waterproof and they burn for 20 minutes and they're pretty cool. Like,
right?
We love them, which is really, really awesome. Absolutely.
All natural.
They are all a natural, which is lovely. We did get a little bit of mail too. Oh, go ahead.
We're not done.
What'd you get, honey?
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
Tell about the McWick thing.
Right. So if you go to McWickFires.com,
which you should. Oh, but wait. You go first. You go first, and I'll tell them the rest.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't want the middle of my story to interrupt the beginning
of
yours.
Oh, no, because my story's I got lots going on.
I gotta deal with.
Go, honey. Go, honey.
Anyways, go to McWickFires.com, get any of their product line or swag. Use the code KillQuest.
Yep.
Get 15% off, and you are good to go.
Right on. But what I was going to say is, I just found out today that
you did.
I did about the McWick hat. When we were in Mexico, we had taken a picture of me with my little McWick hat in the pool, and apparently it's on the website. So go check it out. Just saying. Yeah. It's my favorite hat.
There's a poser.
Oh my gosh. We got mail this week. And John, we've been planning some trips, which is awesome.
Yes.
And we have a ton of maps in our house. We have a ton of books in our house.
You should see the living room floor.
Yeah, because we spread stuff out.
I
know, it's crazy. So, tell them about your books you got, honey.
So, I talked to a friend of ours, Mr. Kevin Callan, in regards to a canoe that we're looking at getting. And of course, it's like I had to get a couple of his books. I don't know if you can barely see them.
Oh, a little bit of green screen action, but that's okay.
But yeah, I got 2 of the 3 that I ordered.
And then we also have
his latest one that just got released at the beginning of this. It's getting released May 2nd, Monday.
I think it was Monday.
His Killarney French River book, his latest edition. So I'll be getting that the end of next week, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So I got a shipment notification that it's going to be going out sometime next week.
Yeah, for sure. So we got out last weekend. We did a hike. Our intention was to get our ultralight backpacks out again. And it's the first hike of the year. I mean, we'd snowshoed, but hadn't really got our gear on, all that kind of fun stuff. So our intention was hike in 7 miles, camp out overnight, and then hike out another, like a little bit of a loop, 5 miles.
5 miles.
So been 12 in total. The day was gorgeous.
Beautiful day. We started on the trail. I looked at the clock and I clocked it on our trip counter. It was 11:45.
Yep.
We blew through that and we got to
campground.
The campground in like just about 2 hours.
Like it was like so fat. We were like booking it. Like it was awesome. So day was killer.
For us.
For us, yeah.
That was fast. That's for us. And there was it was like barely 1 o'clock and I was like, we had a snack and it's like, this is like too nice of a day to this is like, I don't want to, how did I say? I said, this is like the perfect day to have a burger and a beer on a patio.
That's
somewhere.
right. So,
and she looked at me, she goes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Because we were just feeling good.
Boom, we go down the trail and blah, blah, blah. I think we got a mile in or something like that. And then
so
next thing you know, we get a T in the road off a horse trail and stuff like that.
And a bike trail, a horse trail. Then we're hooking up to the NCT, which is a 4,600 mile trail.
And anyways, at the crossroads, we were supposed to go right, and how we missed it, but we ended up going left. Nevertheless, we've added 4 hours and 5 miles to our trip because of all the backtracking.
17 miles on Saturday.
Oops.
Wow, it was pretty wild. But we did it.
We still had the sandwich and the beer, but it wasn't on a patio because it was 9 o'clock at night. 9 o'clock at night.
Anyways, but a couple things in regards to, hopefully we're gonna talk about that tonight a little bit. But it's just amazing what your bodies can do. For one, like we were just amazed, and that's our first 17 miler. I mean, our record for straight up backpacking was 12.
Just under 12.
So that was on Isle Royal. Yeah.
Was it 12?
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was the Fife Lake Loop.
No,
that was like 11.
That was like 11, but we were 12. So who's in the chat tonight, honey?
All right, who's in the chat?
Right from the beginning.
Doc Watson, he was like here super early.
Doc.
As always. Thanks, Doc. Okay, all terrain coffee and camping.
Jason, hey.
My mom. Hi, Mom.
Hi, John's mom.
Who else we got? Tangent Trail.
Hello, Jerry.
Oh, the Ontario Camping Couple's here.
Oh, my gosh, you guys made it.
You got your
That's
internet.
Good. But I have your question here anyways. Hi, Rob and Sabrina.
Let's see.
All
Mad
right.
Hippies are here.
All right. Miller and Debbie from Colorado.
What's up, guys? That hiking guy.
Hi, Chris.
Oh, Mark's here.
Backcountry Paddler. Wonderful.
Darren Davidson.
Darren, another fellow Canucker. Whoop, whoop.
Hey.
Would you stop saying that?
Salmon Outdoors is here.
All right, David.
Tanya's here.
Tanya, hey.
Who else we got? Tri Duty.
Mark, well, hello.
And of course, Outside Comfort Zone.
Hello, Jared.
Darren, Right Paddle Repeat.
And Darren, awesome. And Details is in the house.
Details is here.
Hey, everybody. This is awesome. So excited. Another backcountry couples. And we've got Canada coming back this week, honey. Hence, he's got the sense. And in fact,
I'm a Senators fan.
I think, look at this.
The reason why
tell them the story, honey.
is because when the Grand Rapids Griffins got started up over 25 years ago, the first couple of years they got affiliated with the Ottawa Senators. Yeah. So a lot of the players that we got to watch here in Grand Rapids got moved up, and so I became a huge Sens fan.
There you go.
And the last Griffin on the Sens team was Chris Neal, and of course they retired his jersey number, which is I got goosebumps just thinking about it. Oh
my god! Should I start singing like "Oh Canada" or something? Here we go. These guys off the hop. So love to have the jersey. Been a Sens fan for 27 years. They've been around that long?
Sens have been around a lot
Interesting.
longer.
I don't think I knew that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
There you go. Non-hockey fan.
I am not a hockey fan. I hate to say that. I know you guys can all hate me. I'm sorry. Oh, wait. Dustin's here. I'm here. Don't forget me.
Okay. Dustin
Hey,
Dwayne.
welcome. All right. So
episode 30.
It's 37. I can't believe it.
Halfway to 60, 50, 74.
70. He's like, blah, 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 my fingers and toes, honey. He's like,
Carry the 2.
count.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait a
gone.
minute. What was that, honey?
Nothing.
Okay, we are good.
Please continue.
I am going to continue because I'm excited tonight. I'm always excited. Thursday, I feel like it comes around really quick, you know?
Well,
and then
I can attest to that.
Yeah, I know. So I love doing the research. And it's been fun catching up on everyone's videos, right?
There's not enough time in the day to do that.
I know. That's the whole thing. So we're excited to share our couple tonight. Are you ready?
Totally.
Here we go. So
first bit though, I was at a vets hospital, old veteran, World War II vet, and I was waiting for my colleague to join me. Anyways, he's like, son, he goes, yes, I go, yes, sir. He goes, so let me tell you something about life. I said, okay. He goes, life's like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get, the faster it goes to the center. And I was like,
what?
That's funny.
Oh my gosh. What kind of joke is that?
Hey,
but I hope you laughed at him. All right. I hope you laughed at him. That's fun. Anyways. All right. Tonight, our backcountry couple tonight comes from northeastern Ontario, Canada. They embark on backcountry adventures and expeditions. Together, they are exploring canoe routes you never knew existed. They're documenting video series take you through some of the breathtaking wilderness in the process, reminding you that Mother Nature always checks you. That's my hockey reference, just saying. Welcome from Explore the Backcountry, Brad and Leah.
Hey, guys.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Definitely had a chuckle at those hockey references there.
Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah.
Our pleasure. We are so excited to be on here tonight.
We are awesome to have another backcountry couple. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, you guys.
All right.
Cheers indeed.
Cheers.
What are you guys drinking tonight?
We have some Forgotten Lake. This is from Lake of the Woods Brewery out in Kenora, Ontario. And this is called, it's a blueberry ale. It's absolutely delicious, about 7.1%, and they make it with wild blueberries. So
sounds delicious.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Real? Oh, that's
we'll have to pick some up when we go over, maybe, honey.
Well,
it's one of our favorite beers, hands down. Big fan of blueberry beers. Like, I love all beers, but blueberry beer, special place.
I love it. I love it. Really cool. We always love to like share how we got to know you and stuff like that. And we just kind of met you on through Dennis, right? On Canoe Hat Adventures. And I don't know if we were on a panel with you guys, we first saw you or whatever that was. And we were just like, hey, there's another couple that are having fun, getting dirty and having a great time out in the wild. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how cool was that? So
it was wicked.
Yeah, right. So how did you guys meet?
I can tell this story.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my best girlfriend at the time, like one of my best girlfriends, she was starting to date a new guy. And she was like, you should come and meet him to approve, right? It was in university. And so I traveled up from my university to go to her university to hang out for a weekend to meet her new boyfriend. And we were all like, let's go out one night. And the new boyfriend was like, hey, can I bring my roommate / best friend, Brad Jennings? And it was like, of course, obviously. And so we met that night, and we liked each other. And a couple, fast forward like 8 months, and we were together ever since. And those two people are now married and have 2 kids. So
that's awesome.
That is
awesome. Our best man and best our maid of honor at our wedding.
Oh, that is so nice.
Love it.
That is so cool.
There's
And
this
how old
chance.
were you? So you were in university when you met. Okay.
Yeah.
We were like 21.
21?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, we've
21.
been together for a decade now, pretty much.
It'll be 10 years in November.
So amazing. And I
That
know
is-
that
yeah,
we
so
know
awesome.
a little bit about your background and stuff like that, but were you both outdoorsy growing up?
For sure. So I started paddling with my dad basically since like before I could walk. He put me in a canoe. I did a lot of trips with him all across, Ontario and stuff. We did some stuff down in the States too. And then, of course, meeting Leah, I think one of the reasons we hit it off was just, as strangers trying to break the ice, discussing like what we're interested in. And we were talking about travel and things like that. And I said, well, I'm big into travel, but I'm big into like backcountry travel.
Yeah.
And Leah had done some backcountry stuff before, but not to the degree that I had done, but it was a natural icebreaker anyways.
Yeah, so for me, it was one of these situations where my parents were not like I didn't grow up in an outdoorsy family,
Right.
But I always loved being outdoors. And then, when you like in high school and in university, I always try to find mechanisms to find my way outdoors. But I never had like someone who knew what they were doing or like knew how to canoe or whatever. And so when I met Brad, I was like, oh my God, I finally met And it was just one of these situations where it was like I had the right mentality and the spirit, and then he just had the skills. And then it was just kind of go from there.
She was so gung-ho.
I know, right?
Meshing.
She wanted to go on a trip. She was so gung-ho. And it was February after we started dating. And I said, let's go winter camping. And she didn't raise an eyebrow to it, said it was a great idea. And lo and behold, we go out there and we got an epic winter storm where it went from, minus 30 degrees up to like +2. So you got a blizzard that transitioned to sleet, snow, and we got thunder snow. So in the middle of the night, Leah wakes up thinking someone's outside the tent because there's all these flashes. Of course, it's the middle of the winter, so you don't think about thunder and lightning.
No.
But the tent's starting to rumble, the lightning's flashing, and then it's freezing rain and the tent's sagging in on us. And I'm like, well, if she doesn't leave me after this trip, I think
And I'm sitting there being like, tough it out. I got to get this guy to like me. So
oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
That's how it worked out.
And that's it. Yeah.
Boom.
Holy moly. And you guys are newlyweds.
Yeah, about a year and a half now.
Yeah, we're a COVID wedding. So we had 10 people at the wedding, including ourselves.
Right.
It was amazing. It was the best wedding ever.
And did your sister end up coming up?
Yes, she did. She surprised me a week in advance. So I had literally, like, my sister was going to be my maid of honor. And
she's from Texas. Just so everybody knows that, right? Yeah.
She lives in Texas with her husband there. And we didn't know what the border situation was going to be or, all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And she had just told me that morning that she was like, Leah, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. And I was like, okay, I completely understand. So I asked Rebecca, the one who introduced Brad and I, to be my maid of honor. And that night I was texting my girlfriend who's right here in our house today, telling her the situation. And my sister came down the stairs and surprised me. And
oh my God, what a bum.
I was like, hey, I'm here. And it was like one of these situations where it was just kind of like, let's just see if this is going to work out. And it worked out. And it was the biggest, I'm very rarely surprised, ever, because I'm very like, what's going to happen? Like, sure. I don't know. I just always pick up on people's cues.
I'm the same. And I hate surprises too.
Well, I love them, but I'm very rarely surprised.
Okay.
So my sister, when she surprised me, it was just like an emotional wreck. And so my sister was able to still be my maid of honor. And my girlfriend who introduced Brad and I together, she was the only other party that was there other than our parents and our family.
I think it's perfect.
It was amazing.
I think it's perfect. That's amazing. So obviously the photographers you have are get in that canoe because we need to have this epic photo, right?
Yeah. Our photographer is another story. So she
okay.
Wait, there's more.
There's more.
She got COVID right before.
What?
So we had to send a backup who we had never met or had tested or knew what her style was. So, it was our wedding was very much it was a total typical COVID wedding. Like the photographer was kind of like we'll see what we can get. The guest list was very small. My makeup and hair artist,
Didn't show.
Yeah, our hair artist didn't show. She had a panic attack on the way. So
oh my gosh.
the wonderful makeup artist like stepped up and was like, I could help with hair. And like, it was like a whole situation, but it was just like, okay, there's only 10 of us. So,
but yeah,
Man.
we definitely had to get in the canoe. And actually, in fact, we arrived, like my dad and I paddled up to where we're having the ceremony on this nice rocky point in the canoe. And we got out of the canoe and then walked up, and then Leah came down. So the canoe was central to the wedding. And then afterwards, of course, Leah and I did a bit of a paddle in the canoe too. So it was central, not just for the photography point, but it had to play a part because it's a big part of our relationship.
Absolutely, it is.
Oh yeah,
absolutely,
totally.
Well, because you just said, right, you guys have been paddling together, or no, well, together for 10. Or you've been paddling together for 10 years.
Paddling together for 10.
That's crazy, right?
The only thing I was looking for was like the just married and cans dinging
Oh.
off.
Oh, behind the canoe. Oh, that would have been funny, actually. I mean, one of the things
That would have kind of cool,
That is true. That is true. So with paddling, I mean, I always feel because we're new paddlers together,
Right?
And
Still,
we are. And one of the things that we always say is that we're always improving, right? Because you can only improve your skills because you're always learning. Even though you've been paddling for 10, we've only been paddling together probably 3 years now, right?
3-ish.
And I mean, it's a learning curve, right? So I think once you know you're in it for the long haul, right? You know what I mean? And you get all the right tools of the trade, to kind of do what you're going to do, you're going to be successful, right? So I know one of the things that you got, Leah, was you got a little gift, which is kind of cool. And I know that was kind of like something that kind of solidified what was going to happen for you in the backcountry. So you are like, totally, you got, this is it. You're like, she's like, I'm going to paddle and I'm going to cook the ass off of you kind of thing. She's like, I got the tools. I got stuff going on here.
I like the handles of those.
I know, they're cool. But she got the new life jacket, right? And then she's got like this cooking stuff. And I'm like, I love it. Obviously, that's not for the backcountry, but I'm just saying, hand in hand. You know what I mean?
It could.
Well, I mean, it could.
Well, Brad and I always do charcuterie out on the backcountry.
Yes.
In fact, when I proposed to her in the backcountry, I had set up a nice charcuterie board on a paddle, as we sometimes often do. And I told her to go off and get some firewood because, the fire is dying down, need some firewood. So she went off into the woods, grabbed the firewood, and as soon as she came back, I was down on one knee and had some nice bubblies there as well with this gorgeous charcuterie spread with a raging fire, which you didn't need the wood.
Wow, you couldn't ask for a perfect scenario.
I know, right? Oh, my God.
Honey, can you go get some wood? Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Love it.
I'm like, sure. Come back with all this like mud all over my face, like literally hauling an entire tree with the roots.
Like, oh my gosh.
Perfect.
I know, right? So canoeing for people is like, I feel like you either love it or you're really apprehensive about it because it has a bit of, it's a tippy kind of thing, or I don't know because you need canoe lessons. It's kind of like recreational activity, right? That's kind of combined with camping for us, like canoe camping.
I would say more so a rec here in the States compared to Canada.
Maybe
that's like it's a staple. Up
maybe
there.
I was going to say that because in Ontario, I mean,
because there's so much water.
There's a lot of.
I mean, we have a lot of water here, a lot of rivers and stuff like that.
There is, but definitely there's more of an opportunity, I think, maybe for like the backcountry canoe and camping in Ontario, right? And obviously, you guys were, doing fun little trips and short trips and all that kind of stuff, right? But then you're like, wait a minute. What if we take it one step further? What if we explore more? Like, what else is out there, right? How do I get into it? And how did that start?
I guess that was coming from me because I've kind of always had a passion to get out there and explore. I did a lot of canoeing with my dad before. And of course, like the parks are really great. Like we have a plethora of parks in Ontario where there's, it's pretty easy just to show up, paddle into a site, take a few portages, and it's pretty much all laid out before you. But the more I got into paddling, the more I got that kind of knack to want to go, and that urge rather to go and explore more areas, because when you really get into it, you find like a really deep connection to the landscape around you when you're kind of venturing off trail, going to places that, you know, most folks don't venture to, and you get away from crowds. I mean, it's one thing to go into the backcountry and have a lake and see a fire down there, but it's that much more of like, I don't know, an emotional, spiritual sort of uplifting experience when you go to these places that folks just don't get into. So it kind of became an addiction after doing a couple of these sort of exploratory routes with my dad. And I have a background doing these crazy adventure race sort of sports too, where you traverse the landscape and go through areas where people just don't get to see. But I always found that those places were the ones that were the most moving and resonated with me the most. So it just kind of became a slow addiction. And Leah, I brought her, I think our first exploratory trip was the Black River, South Jean in the Algonquin Highlands in Ontario.
Loved it.
We did some bushwhacking portages on that, blazing routes, and she was all about this, like, you know, let's start to explore where people had been before. And in Ontario, before in the 80s, we had a canoe route program, or like at least dating back to the 1920s.
Right.
But it kind of fell out of monetary support from the government in the 80s, where rangers would go through and clear all these routes. So we have all these canoe routes that just kind of got lost. So for us, looking at a map and finding the old M&R pamphlets and finding all this information and kind of doing a scavenger hunt, it kind of connected the dots, and it just snowballed from there. So we did the Black River trip, and then from there on in, it just became
addicting at that point. Like when you go to a piece of land that, you know, not a lot of people are there, like not a lot of people have experienced it, because it just becomes really spiritual and like moving. And Brad and I are not religious people, but like there's this connection that you feel to the land, and you just become like a rhythm and a part of it. And it's very like healing, and like I don't know any other way to explain it. It's just
you're being alone. It's solitude. Anyone who gets on the trail, it doesn't matter if you're into paddling or hiking, or even if you overland and things like that. You know that feeling when you get to a spot where there's moving around.
It's moving.
Yeah, it is moving. Absolutely.
And the fact of like nobody's around.
Exactly.
Yes,
it is that solitude. Yeah, it is a solitude. And the other thing that we love too, and obviously I think this kind of pertains to the lost routes, is the history. Like when we go to a spot or traveling to a spot, we're like, you know, what's happened before? We try to do a little bit of background information or whatever. So that must be something that's intriguing too, about that history, right?
Giving you the jazz, the fizz of like the research.
I like that. Is it jazzy?
Diving in, it's like, ooh, I mean, they did this back in 1800s or whatever like that. And it's like, but it hasn't been touched maybe since then.
Right.
And that's exactly part of the draw. And that's what I'm saying. Like when we're trying to figure out, like when I'm doing a research stage of like a bigger trip or an expedition, and you're looking at trying to find tidbits of information. And sometimes it's surveys dating back to like, you know, 1857 or something like that. And you're thinking, well, how many other folks have followed in the steps of this explorer?
Right.
And then you're retracing that. And sometimes when we find traces of either First Nations use or fur trappers or explorers, it really just kind of bridges it all together. And then finding like artifacts out there in the woods.
That was on my list. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It's really cool to see. Obviously, you just take a photo and walk on for the next person to find. But it's so interesting when you find mysteries too sometimes. And you're like, you can tell there's a outline of an old cabin, and you wonder whoever stayed there. Or you find an old trap, or you find an old nail in the middle of nowhere.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Signs it's like boom. It's like, okay, someone's been here like this many years ago. And then,
for sure.
There was a case. There was a case when Brad and I got we got windbound on Lake Superior, and we found a tiny little cove that we thought no one had ever found, and we were in there bush cutting our little site for the night because we knew we were going to be windbound, and we found super old cuts of wood from someone else being windbound, and we were like, oh my god, like I wonder what the circumstances, you know what I mean? It's just like this, there's this like history draw to it that it's just kind of cool to be able to like relive and highlight in like these modern times the beautiful, rich history that has always been in our province.
Right.
So
So
That's
when you're looking for this stuff, are you like doing the research on the books? I mean, like John's got a couple. Like he's got.
I got I got
And is it satellite stuff?
I got Kevin's. Oh, I can barely see it. Top 60.
Right, and
And
he
then
has
I
Kevin
also
Callan
got
has like a
Leah.
Lost Roots, I think, book, right?
And I also got the 5th edition from Cliff Jacobson.
So when we started, a lot of stuff was done via books, but now I'm at the point where, and Kevin will rib me for it because he wants me to push my book, but I'm working on a guide.
Brad's working on a book.
Hey, whoop, whoop.
Spoiler alert,
I
Brad's
wasn't
working
going to bring it up, but I knew about it.
It's a guidebook for lost roots, but it comes the same way. You find old information, so you're not necessarily looking at these books. You're looking at, if it was an old maintained route by the government, you're looking at the old route pamphlets they have out. If not, you're going to contact communities or First Nations to try to figure out if you can find any information from those who still, inhabit the area. But then for some of these more remote trips we do, and we've done a couple now where there's absolutely zero information, and we've done a couple first descents where, it hasn't been done in the modern era. Not to say, we'd be naive to think that no one ever travels some of these places, but maybe not necessarily by the same means of propulsion, i.e. a canoe going down rapids.
Sure.
But that being said, there's no information. So then it's looking at satellite and aerial imagery and then the topos. But in some of these remote and northern places, the topos are incorrect because no one's really surveyed them.
Right.
So we give that information then to geographical institutions afterwards so that those national maps can get updated after the fact.
So when you're out here doing these trips, are you collecting the data to develop these maps and stuff?
So that's a kind of a two-part, because I want to say one was kind of to create either awareness, or one was kind of preservation, kind of the lost kind of roots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like some of the routes we do, there is contentious things in the background. And if we don't make it known publicly, a bit of research, when you start to look, you can figure out that there's some contentious stuff in there. We try to stay out of the politics of some of these things too. But for the most part, by using a route, it's a fine line between use it or lose it, because some of these lost routes, it'll get lost to development if no one goes there. So you got to raise awareness. So by documenting it, making maps or a book or an article or a video, we hope that it will get preserved for others to enjoy that sort of natural cultural heritage for the future as well.
Right.
So it is a big part of it. And obviously we take tons of notes when I'm out there. I've got GPS of everything running when I'm on the water. I have hard copy maps, big advocate. Anytime you go on a route, doesn't matter what you do, always bring a hard copy map.
Yes, I'm a map girl. Get it out.
I've had a GPS.
Hard copy maps, man.
I've had a
They're
GPS
the only way.
implode on me,
100%.
literally implode. The pixels just burst on the screen when I was bushwhacking on a lost canoe, and I was stranded about 1 kilometer in the middle of the bush with no semblance of a bearing because I wasn't following my compass bearing like I normally do. So I had to figure out where I was based on like my past steps and how many steps I took. So,
my gosh,
technology, take a paper map, but I'll make notes on the paper map as we go.
Definitely.
Right. Yeah.
And like Brad will pre-scout, like, so when he's making his map, he will he will do so much research on the satellite imagery that he will kind of pre-map where he can see from looking at the satellite map where that portage that's supposed to be there should be, or what class of our whitewater that we're about to encounter will be. And it's always it's just kind of nice to have that before you go in, because when you're in the moment, it prepares you, and like it just makes you more aware of what you're about to encounter.
Sure.
That's incredible.
I mean, and of course, when it comes to satellite imagery, it can only be to a certain extent because you don't know exactly how old those satellite imageries are.
Oh, that's true too.
Exactly.
And it doesn't tell you everything. So like we did a big expedition last summer, and there were still, a million surprises, because you're looking at a flat image and like up there, it's low resolution because it's not in a city where you get like the 3D buildings and all that stuff.
Right.
So it's just a rough estimate to know that this day is going to be a slog and then this day is going to be probably easy sort of thing.
There
So
you go.
it's not going to show you how to run every single rapid down there. That's for you to discover based on water levels and everything else when you get there. But it gives us a sense that today is going to be a total like, you know, gong show, or it's going to be smooth sailing or something. So,
when doing all this, is it always in the back of your mind that if you do publish something and put it out there for the public, are you feared that it might get overran and not keep the secluded pristine that would you found it, you know, for the select few that would venture out to, instead of having like a mass of people going to it?
yeah, so for one thing, I probably only film or document maybe a third of all the trips we do. Maybe even less sometimes. I'm not a guy to go out there and post everything we do, because sometimes some of these places are just too short. It's a great little weekend for us, but you know, if I post about it, I know if someone can drive there, paddle 5K, get to a site, it's going to get overrun. But other places where we know that there's like, let's say forestry or mining or development proposals on the plan for a place that's been, you know, utilized traditionally by paddlers for a long time, I for sure will publish that, because then it kind of brings forth these other user base into the fold that's kind of been silent and lost and forgotten for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be diplomatic with what routes you choose to publish or not, but we tend to try to avoid some of the places that'll get overrun. And I've had a couple that I've done in the past that I get inundated with map requests for it, and I just simply kind of have to say no and ignore it, because I know, talking to parks or like other folks in the background, that it's like overused. And there's quite a few overused spots in southern Ontario. So for all those folks from Ontario who do paddling, if you're south of Sudbury and the French River, North Bay area, that's the heavily used area, because it's
Sure it is.
Yep.
2 to 3 hours.
All that stuff. Absolutely it is. But I mean, what you guys are doing is a different kind of tripping. It's a different kind of paddling. You know what I mean? It's not your average, you know, kind of people getting out there doing that kind of stuff, right? It's not your weekend paddlers. That's the thing, you know? Like, you guys are paddling and we're doing stuff like this. You know what I mean? Like,
and the fact
Soaring
that
down
they did not
waterfalls.
have helmets on in that shot.
Yeah, PSA. I said in the video, we forgot our helmets in the truck, and we're always advocates for the proper whitewater gear.
Huge PPE people, like we are,
which is awesome.
yes.
like,
But yes, this shot on the Lady Evelyn River, we did not wear the helmets, so we felt like dolts, but we made sure that we scouted everything.
but
to sure.
at
That's
least
a
we're wearing
killer
our
Yeah.
life jackets.
Right. Absolutely.
That is one thing I can definitely attest to everybody in the chat, that you guys and every one of your videos you have
always
PPs always on. And
which
there's a lot of YouTubers out there that
don't do that,
wear their PPs.
And I mean, people are watching these videos and trying to get inspiration from other like YouTubers or whatever you want to call everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, you should totally be wearing that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's such a killer shot.
So it's a great shot. I love that shot. We're not doing that. Just saying. We're not there yet. We are not there yet.
We'll teach you how.
It's quite manageable.
I know.
Well, this is the
I
thing.
want to learn whitewater, no question about it.
Okay,
So
and we do, and we kind of want to take lessons. But so
what do you mean, but
no, we do.
yes.
No, but and
not but
and so the canoe, as amazing as it is, you know, one person can paddle it and two can do it beautifully together, which obviously you do. And we are trying to learn how to do that.
It's called communication.
It is. Well, that's the thing. As a couple, it's communication. But the canoe has also been called the divorce boat.
Yes. We
Do you know
mentioned that in our vows.
Oh, you did? You did not.
Yes, we did. Well, I did. Because on our first date, Brad took me to the canoe museum in Ontario and showed me a beautiful canoe, and then was like, you know, it's called the divorce boat. Looked me dead in the eye and then turned away, and I was like, okay.
Well, it's like, was that like a drop the mic moment or something?
Right?
And it's worked out. So we figured out our communication. But it's true. It is really, really, really true.
And it can. I mean, you need, even if you're not doing white water, even if you're paddling down a river and there's like a log in the way, you still got to communicate on how to get around the log in the river. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that benefit
when to draw, when to pull.
Yeah, like when that outdoor partner thing, there's a benefit to obviously having two people in the boat. You're a team, you need to rely upon each other, right? So, and I mean, even just boosting your confidence, that's a big deal. So when we had our extra 5 miles of hiking on the weekend that we did not intend to, we were just like, "How you doing, honey? I'm doing good." You know what I mean? And we could have been like, whatever.
Like, are you all right?
We're like, "Yep, we got this."
I'm
you know
fine.
what I mean?
She's like, "What's wrong?" I said, "My legs hurt," but I wasn't gonna say.
You know what I mean? But no, we're good. We're good.
But that's it. Like folks say it's a divorce boat, but you need to have an open line of communication. And I'm a firm believer that a harder backcountry trip, even if it's not hard like expedition hard, but if it pushes you outside of your comfort zone, gives you new challenges, that right there is like the litmus test as to how you perform as a couple and how you'll face a lot of other life's challenges. So like, obviously we definitely worked a few communication things at times, but we were a natural fit for a lot of stuff. But there's, I'd be stupid to say we've never had a moment. Everyone's
Screw you, Leah. Come on, Brad. You know what I mean, right?
Those moments,
exactly. Yeah.
You just have to work through them, though, right? Like, it's one of those. Totally. You know what it is? Honestly, I find when it comes to canoeing, you just have to be like honest with each other. Like, hey, I'm feeling really dehydrated. I'm feeling a little cranky because of it. Can we please stop and have a snack? That's all it is. Yeah. It's just like there shouldn't be no ego. There should be no who's stronger than the other because who can outlast, none of that crap.
Right.
Like you just have to be be honest with each other.
It's honesty. Agreed.
Like, hey, we just did that rapid and the way you were telling me to switch left or switch right or whatever, it felt really aggressive. Could we change your tone? Any of that stuff. It's just all about being honest. It's just honesty is really what it is.
Agreed.
And
absolutely.
Being able to accept criticism and be okay with it and then just move on. It's not a personal thing. It's just
no.
It's a communication thing.
Yeah, it's not like I hate you. We're not friends anymore. We're getting a divorce. Whatever that is. You know what I mean?
I think the first time we ever did whitewater together was a bit of a big wake up call at first.
Oh yeah, it was a little bit of a cluster mess.
Because you're trying to yell over the din of the rapids and it sounds like you're yelling at your partner, but you're not. You're trying to make split-second decisions so that you don't wrap your boat, sort of thing.
And then if the partner's like me, I'm not aware of that. So I'm just like, why are you yelling at me? And it's like
right. Actually,
figuring it all out. It's
so true. It's so true. I think we just said that it's okay to be winded going uphill. Come on, you know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And I mean, it's not even just being in the water. Portaging is one heck of a freaking road too. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That gets kind of wild after a while.
Kind of like this video.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Man.
Oh God, what are you gonna show?
Oh, I didn't format it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I didn't format it. Whoops.
Hold on.
Uh-oh, where'd you go, honey? Are you still there, everybody? Talk amongst yourselves.
If it's what I think it is, I can already.
All I can say is that I'm Brad's biggest cheerleader. I used to be a cheerleader in
I can't believe I just did that.
Oh, it's all right.
That's okay. No, but basically what it was is you're wearing bug shirts. You're there's blown drowned trees. You are you're dragging the canoe over and under, and it's not like a pretty little, manicured portage in Algonquin Park per se.
Yeah, 4-foot wide trail and stuff.
You know what I mean? So there's some preparation when it comes to that too.
100%. And I mean, so I know the one you're talking about, that was on that Lady Evelyn trip where
it was. Yeah.
We had record heat. So
worst
it was
portage we've ever done.
And we've done some gnarly stuff, but that trip, it was probably like 40 something degrees with the
I
human.
think it was 42 Celsius.
That's like 90 something.
That's a good.
No, that's in the 110s.
Yeah, exactly. It's hot. It is. Yeah, it is. Double plus 30, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. The deer flies were swarming. There's no water because it's just a wasteland with no canopy coverage either. So there's no leaves to give you shade. And you're just sweltering and you're dying. And it's like, well, what are you going to do at this point in time? It's just, you have to get to the other end. You could say, I'm going to quit midway through it, but who's going to come and save you? No one. So at that point in time, you just got to dig deep, and you got to dig deep as a couple. Or if you're not a couple, it doesn't matter. You dig deep with your teammates around you and kind of lift each other up, because you're only as strong as the weakest link on there. So even if you're like, I'm gung ho, I'm the best, I can do this all day, it doesn't matter if your partner is not having a good time, even if they're stronger than you on a regular day. Doesn't matter. That's your weakest link at that point in time, and it could be you the next day. So you just need to be cognizant of everyone's sort of, physical and emotional, mental state at that point in time.
Yeah.
And if they're down, bring them up. And sometimes it might mean sacrificing,
time, distance, whatever,
or taking pack items, or doing another trip back, or taking that breather midway through. So
yeah.
Right. Well, a couple things. Girl plus dog said, push him off the mountain or marry them. Okay. I like that. And Canoe for Change was like, work it out or you both will lose your shit together, which is a true story.
Oh, those two are so fun.
But I mean, I know that we set not like a goal, but we always go, hey, there's a pot of gold at the end of this big portage or of this big hike that we're going to do. What's that beer and the burger after hiking 17 miles or whatever that is? You know what I mean?
Food.
Like there's something there after that hard slog, after that hard, you know what I mean? So,
yeah. So for Brad and I, it's food.
Yeah, so well, that's not
particularly for me. It's the only motivator to get me to the end of a portage. It's like food.
Right on. That's good. I like that.
And
I like
so we put a lot of attention into the food we cook and eat while we are canoeing. Even on a 3-week-long trip, we put the same attention as if it was just a weekend. Because
I like that idea.
Brad knows, I know, you're not going to get me to the end of a slog unless there's something yummy at the end of it. So it's just one of those situations.
You need as much motivation as you can. And sometimes it's like, it doesn't matter. It's just like, all I can focus on is that meal that I know is still in the food pack. If all we have left is like, military grade MREs, we're not going to be like, oh, great, let's finish this. We're going to be like, let's just call the helicopter and then go to a chip stand.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
And I know that like even also at the end of the day, you got to still find your campsite. You know what I mean? Like it's not even done yet, right? But when you get that campsite, there's still that like, oh my gosh, it's an amazing moment. You know what I mean? Like, look at that.
Yep. That's St. Raphael, gorgeous spot
right there. Like the suns, everything. Like, come on.
The water's you got cedar there. The water's like glass.
Everything is just like magical at the end of it. So whatever happened, all the shit and all the crap and everything else, you know what I mean? That's like it's gone. Like it's weird how it just like it has like dissipated, right?
Unless we get there and it's pouring rain or it's a crazy wind and the bugs aren't letting up. Yes.
Well, that is true. That is true. Right on.
True.
Right on.
But there are some times that those that struggle moment it goes on for days where you're just like, there's going to be that pot of gold per se. Eventually you'll get there, and be it maybe like an amazing cliff or a mountain or an exhilarating rapid. There's always something we know that's going to be uplifting when we're out there on a trip, because there's just so much to see and experience out on a canoe trip that when you round a bend, you never know what's going to surprise you. And even if you've done so much research, there's still things that are going to shock and surprise you every time.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's part of that motivation.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. And I think that because you're not doing the research for it, obviously, which is number one. But that element of surprise, I mean, is just something you kind of take away. But we don't always share that with everybody either. Like we always just kind of, sometimes we kind of keep the little things that we kind of, you know, come across like just the two of us, right?
Yeah.
Yet there's other things that we want to tell everybody about, like, oh my God, you're not going to believe there was this incredible waterfall at the end of this, you know, whatever that was. But
or a beaver walking through your camp.
Or a beaver walking through our campsite. That has happened to us. But yes, you just like stuff like that. I don't know. Like
Literally,
it's just,
this sucker was like that big,
it
man.
was.
And he was less than 4 feet away from me.
Yeah, it was pretty. So it was what?
I said beavers are pretty cute.
They are super cute, without a doubt.
Yeah, super cute at 2:30 in the morning when you hear this.
That is true. That is true. That we had a campsite on Iroquois that was like that. It was kind of wild. But
and we literally got warned about this too.
Right. So we kind of want to talk about Little North.
Sure.
Yeah, like we just really became
that was awesome
like
trip.
Enamored with that. We're just like, oh man, how do we get there? How do we do that? Like I was like newbies, you know what I mean?
Totally stoked on the communication y'all had when you're going through the rapids, you know, your 2s and 3s, and it's like, and they're like, you guys were like dialed in.
So it was 450K in total.
Yeah.
That trip is about 450K. Yep.
Right. And then you paddled
19 days.
You paddled as far north as the 52nd parallel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which us in the US is Alaska.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah, because the panhandle comes down.
Yeah.
It does. Right? Am I right? Yeah, it's got to be Alaska.
I don't know the exact where it is, but you're close to when you draw a straight line across.
Yeah. So what was the preparation for that again? Is it same thing? Get the maps, the satellite? Is it?
So at the time I was working as an Indigenous liaison. Okay. So I was working with all the First Nations in the far north communities in Northern Ontario. And when I was working up in one of the communities, I had come across this incredible book called The Canoe Atlas of the Little North. And I was like, oh my God, I love this book. I want it. So my community members told me like where I could buy it and everything like that. And I told my mom, who got Brad for Secret Santa for Christmas one year, how to like buy the book.
Hello. That's the best.
Wow.
And it's one of these books that it's a utility book. It's not meant for like someone like it's meant for a little bit more like advanced canoe paddlers that know how to read maps, who know how to like make their own plans and things like that. And every single page is full of beautiful maps, and they're full of canoe routes that are known and ones that are projected to be known based off of elder knowledge.
I like this. Okay.
From the fur trades, from the First Nations, just from their inhabitants, right?
Yeah.
And so I spent a lot of time flying over the area and being like, there's a canoe route, like, because I would find these little tiny little planes, right?
Right.
And when Brad and I were trying to plan our big trip, I was like, we need to go out west, like out northwestern Ontario. Like, it's a beautiful swath of land. It's gorgeous. We had this book, and that's how we planned it. And it was one of these spots where it's like, we need to retrace a lost route out there. And Brad, through his research, found an old fur trading route from the Hudson's Bay Company and the Northwest Company, which is
Hudson's Bay.
Really? Yeah, which is what Canada is built on, and we retraced it from there.
So found the old lines because they show you the exploratory routes, and a lot of the information there is very, very high level. So it's not detailed, such as like a Kevin Callan guidebook, because it's more like Leah said, based on those elder knowledges. So it's a tiny little line on the map with a P and a question mark, as there might be a portage here, or it was known there was a portage here, 70 years ago.
Yeah. Right.
But the fact is, the land up there is ever changing and evolving. So if it doesn't ever get utilized, especially, in this day and age, as we moved away from that crucial fur trade part of our history to more of like recreational paddlers, but the First Nations up there still, they still maintain it as a traditional hunting and fishing and trapping lifestyle. It's very different than going to like a First Nations reserve down in Southern Ontario or in places of the States. They still have a very traditional lifestyle outside of their communities.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the map basically was kind of like an idea book, but then you still needed to do a lot of research afterwards and a lot of scouting to figure it out. And just I kind of pieced together a route that would take us basically retracing that Dowling expedition back in the 1800s. And the goal was to try to retrace this long lost fur trade route and kind of see a bit of slice of history for ourselves as we went through there. So
and and honor the people who have been there before us. You know what I mean? Like at no point did Brad and I ever try to claim that we were the first people that were ever in the Little North. You know what I mean? Like it's honoring and showing respect to those communities that have made that canoe route what it was, and just bringing it to the larger population so that we can protect it.
It's their traditional roadway. Even if they haven't used it in 100 years, it's basically you're paddling history. And to think maybe 100 years ago, this could have been traveled by thousands of people, but in the preceding 100 century, it's maybe been paddled by 2 or 3 people, sort of thing.
Yeah.
We're losing these parts of our history. We're losing these parts of our culture just to time. And it's a big motivator for us to go out there and kind of recapture these little slices of history and culture.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So did you have to connect with the First Nations ahead of time to tell them that this was going to be the route you were going to take, and that did they have more information to help you, or were you going to say, hey, when we get there, we're going to bring that information back to you guys?
Yeah, so when we were up there, before we had arrived, I had notified all the different communities that we were going to be traveling through. I let them know that we were going to be traveling through their traditional territories and asked if they had any issues or concerns or anything like that. There were no issues or concerns raised. So it was one of those circumstances. And then I let them know that if we came across any pictographs, petroglyphs, or any sites of significance, that we would GPS them, send them to them, and then delete them from our records.
Okay.
And that's how we try to show our respect to them. It's if we're out there, we will find it.
Yeah.
We will let you know, and then we will delete it so that we don't abuse it, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now, was that like a requisite to get a hold of all of them prior to going up there?
No, it's just a sign of respect.
Oh, okay. That's actually amazing. Yeah. That is really, really cool. And then, so for documenting too, right? So, I mean, you said you take a little photograph. You're not always filming everything, right? But are you marking the portages that you're doing? Like, are you bringing trail tape with you?
So some trips we do. It depends on the nature of the trip. So a lot of the routes that we're doing down south here, I call it south, but in Northern Ontario, when we're trying to reestablish lost routes that were funded by the government, those, because they're established main routes that definitely saw people before, should continue to see people in the future. But the only reason they don't is because of lack of funding.
Right.
I'll go through, and those are the routes that I'll put up trail signs, flagging tape. Those take a lot more clearing efforts, whereas some of these expeditions we're just mostly trying to kind of blaze through. We're not necessarily trying to clear a route because we know there's only going to be 1 or 2 people in the next decade who's going to do it.
Like, we will show that we've been through the area by blazing and maybe doing trail markers, we won't post a marker, but we will put some flagging tape, do a quick blaze if we need to power through a portage. But we only do that the fast clearing when it's through the little.
But yeah, the old route
portages alive kind of thing.
Yeah, we do for the lost routes. We do a lot of maintenance too. So we've reopened quite a few routes in northeastern Ontario where we're actually going through and doing a full clear, doing a full sign. Yeah. The whole goal of that trip is to, paddle it, document it, clear it, sign it, make it accessible for others. Because if people don't do it, then it's going to be lost forever, sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%. There you go.
True. Brad literally is the trail marking beast. He is.
Dennis is little.
The amount of times I've sat there being bombarded by friggin' mosquitoes and black flies while Brad is sitting there marking a trail.
There you go. Have you ever found any places of interest for them? I'm assuming that means the First Nations people.
Some cultural sites.
We found a few cultural sites that we have shared with them privately.
Okay.
But they know their land the best. It's
sometimes
Right.
this, like is lost between intergenerational, because like in Ontario especially, well, not Ontario but in Canada, there was a lot of
the residential school system,
a lot of
the
trauma.
60 scoop. There was a
Yeah,
lot of trauma where that knowledge was lost.
Right.
So sometimes we're just bringing information to the youth that their grandparents already know about, but that communication hasn't been there. So
I love that.
It allows you to reconnect, because sometimes, I mean, if you're in a community, you don't necessarily know what's in your own backyard too.
No.
If no one is there, if your parents aren't there to transfer that to you, be it whatever you're doing in life, think about it that way. If your grandfather, your dad never showed you that cool interest or that cool thing because, they were taken away from you, you're never going to learn, and you're never going to know that part of your heritage and history. So that's not it only happens maybe once every now and then, but if we do find
common.
something, we'll talk to them.
They already know it.
Right. No, for sure.
Just like, hey, did you know that these pictographs are here? And they're like, yeah, we know, but give us the GPS points so that we can mark it for our values maps. Like,
Which is incredible.
Yeah.
So we are in the process of looking for some property up north, like in the UP, Upper Peninsula. Right, so I'm so super excited for that. But one of the things that we wanted to get was did you say process? It's a process because anyway, one of the things that we want to and we're looking at right now is a drone.
Okay.
So do you use your drone for like scouting out rapids, for example? No, both heads are shaking. No, okay.
A lot of people think it's a great idea.
It's not a great idea.
The time it takes to get the drone up,
turn
the camera on, look at it. Unless it's a really long set, you could walk there.
Okay.
And the other thing is, aerial or distant views of rapids do not give you a clear depiction
of what the reality is.
For example, if you are on a bridge over a rapid, and it's only, let's say, 6 meters above the rapid, you could look and say, that's not too bad.
I could run that, no problem. You just do this there. And then you're in it and you're like, no, but you can't.
Even if you get to the shore, beside the bridge and you look at it, because you're looking top down aerial, you don't get a good sense for wave height.
Drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Rocks,
big holes,
hidden rocks, like.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's not the same as scouting visually by being there.
So you actually walk the side then to do that, like to scout it out.
So for the bigger sets, a lot of the small stuff, a lot of 2s and even some 3s, we'll just do a quick boat scout sometimes. Sometimes when you're doing like an undocumented descent, you can't physically scout everything. Like if
you don't have the time in the day to get up, stand, walk, plan it out. Or it's such a long rapid that you can't literally afford to do it. Like, so it's 2K.
You'll go down.
Okay.
And so you'll run 500 meters of stuff that you can see in front of you is okay. And then you'll catch a calm back current of water called an eddy, where the current's flowing up. You'll stop there, stand up in the boat, see I can do the next set, or decide, there's a big lip there and I see splooshes of water and droplets, which generally means there's a drop. And if there's anything that's a bit of a drop, then you got to scout it. But when we do some of these big trips, we did a big expedition in northern Quebec last year where we did a section that was like 50 rapids in 25 kilometers just flowing into each other. No notes. It's probably the first descent in the modern era with a canoe, so you don't have any information to go off of. But you just have to rely upon those skills. You have to eddy out. You have to stop and then do your scouting that way. But the drone, it's a great thing for the video, but it's definitely not good.
It's not good for scouting rapids.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Because I mean
it's a great thought.
It is. That's kind of what we kind of were thinking about. But watching the Little North and the rapids, I mean, we were on the edge of our seat. I was holding my breath. Leah's out of her seat in the canoe. Come on already, right?
Leah's seatbelt.
You're flagging, you know what I mean? And then you're doing matrix moves under falling down trees in the water. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, it was
so I mean, that's a big test of a relationship of doing all that is that trust factor, you know what I mean? and you have to almost like choose your attitude, right? Like you just got to like get out there again. And just like I said before, you know, there's that pot of gold. And for you guys, we said that it was the
Right here, to take you down. There's 2 rocks that we want to weave through, cut to the far left, and then whip around out to the pool below. Should be a pretty fun run. Boney, eh? We're good right here, eh? Pull, 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 pull. Pull, 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 pull. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Well done.
That was okay. Come on.
That's awesome.
Oh my god.
You can do it.
I don't know if I can. I'm working on it.
Pull, 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 pull.
I know, right?
I mean, I think my favorite terminology that you have, it's awfully bony out here.
Oh, he likes the bony part.
It took me a couple minutes, like, what the hell is he talking about? Oh, he's talking about rocks.
Yeah, those are the rapids at the headwaters where it's just very, it's not that big, pushy, crazy stuff. But honestly, some of those bony rapids are just as challenging, if not harder.
They're harder. Technical, like a low flow in technical water is harder than in big water and just like big waves. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah, it's harder. For me, at least, it is.
Well, I know it's tricky because you don't have a lot of grip with your blade in the water to grasp stuff because you're bouncing off rocks, the hull's going through things. You got really tight lines. But the big pushy stuff is completely different because you're going through big swells. It's just a different type of anxiety and heart palpitation situation going on.
Wow, you have the right mindset for that, definitely.
Yeah.
And I, like you said, your reward is dinner.
Yeah.
And drinks. Do you know what I mean? So you guys are good cookers. You know what I mean? Like you prep everything up ahead of time. You guys bring a reflector oven. Like, come on. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're making apple pie, whatever.
That's on the list of one of the things we'd like to get.
To get the reflector oven. I agree. And then like anything else, even though like we backpack, ultralight right now. So liquid is heavy. But when you're portaging, liquid is heavy, right? So we bring camp juice, which is we call camp juice, and for us that's
Leah brings the bar.
Lately it's been tequila for us.
I didn't say lately. I said Layla brings the bar.
Leah, you are you're a backcountry bartender, girl.
Well, it's funny because I suck at making cocktails not in the backcountry. But I'm only good at making them in the backcountry.
You're being a zester.
I bring my own zester. I take it seriously. It's the little things,
Man, oh man.
It's that goal of comfort at the end of that long slog.
So I mean, like you're making hot toddies, you make Long Island iced teas, you're bringing a box of wine, and here you're making pina coladas.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, well, okay. So, I mean, everybody has to go watch. Which one was that? The Evelyn?
What was your
pina colada one?
I made pina coladas when we were out in Wabakimi.
Wabakimi. Okay, yeah, everybody has to go back and watch that. But tell everybody right now how to make a backcountry pina colada.
I'll make sure.
So what I would do is I would pre-purchase coconut rum, so like Malibu coconut rum.
Okay.
I put it in like a little small container. I would bring a powdered coconut milk.
Okay.
And then I would also have like the little Mios, like the
little squirty stuff. Yep.
The little squirty stuff. They had one that was pineapple flavored. So I'd bring that, and then I'd have a full lime.
Yeah.
And so I would just put like my filtered water mix it in with my powdered coconut milk, make it like whip it so that it wasn't like chunky or as less chunky as you could get it.
Right.
And then I would add my coconut rum, do a couple squirts of the pineapple, and then the zest of the lime and like lime juice. And that was all it was.
That's outstanding.
Freaking shishi foo
It is. I know. She's gonna have to
wait.
She's gonna have the blender going soon on a backcountry trip. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm fine with just a shot of whiskey or rum by the fire, but then she brings this like great cocktail, and at the end of the day, it's just
very fancy pants stuff. I love that. I know. That's amazing. That's really cool.
I can see a book coming out, Backcountry Cocktail.
Backcountry Cocktails. I feel no, seriously, you should do that. You totally should.
Backcountry cocktails with Explore the Backcountry.
Yeah. Put that on the list. Woo, for sure.
It might be out before Brad's book.
I know.
I'm kidding.
Oh, I was like, what, honey? Holy moly.
Did Colin put you up to that?
Nope.
Oh, he has been talking with Kevin though.
Well, about canoes.
About canoes, but we want to talk about the cookie. But people have seen your little puppy dog kind of, popping up there. Who do you got? Who is this little guy?
His name is Boreal, after the boreal forest that we live in.
Yeah.
Come on, say hi to everyone, baby.
No.
Oh,
he's a German wire-haired pointer. He is just over a year old.
Yeah, he's over a year now.
And there you go. That's when he's so young.
Aww.
We had him on his first canoe trip ever last fall.
Okay.
Went to
It rained the entire time.
Okay.
But he had a blast. We stayed on a little island in Fushimi Provincial Park, which is near Hearst, Ontario.
Near Hearst, Ontario.
Yep.
Little small park, but it's got some great, nice, easy backcountry camping. Highly recommended if someone just wants a nice sort of weekend away for picturesque campsites, pretty quiet and great spots. But took him out there and he just ran around, didn't get too far from us, only went about 25 meters at most, even on the site, and always checked back in. And I've never seen a dog so tired because we were having dinner by the fire and he was just sitting by
All good.
Sitting by the tent asking us to go to bed because he's like, guys, I'm tired. Can we go to bed?
It's hard to be a puppy.
Dinner as fast as we can because he's sitting at the tent being like, I want to go to bed. And we're like,
oh, that's amazing. So is he good in the canoe?
Yeah.
Well, he's an active dog. So you know what he is? He never tries to jump out, but he's so excited. So he'll just look from one side of the canoe to the other. So it's a lot of pacing, side to side to side. Okay. But that was last summer when he was only about 6 months old. So we haven't, our ice isn't out quite yet, but maybe in about a month we'll be in the canoe with him again and we'll test him out a bit.
We also haven't done a full trip where we're portaging and we're moving distance every day. This was a very much we just go out on a long weekend, stay at an island, a little
static kind of trip or whatever.
Yeah. But I suspect if we took him on a trip where he's got sensory overload, we're hiking portage trails with the gear, he's rolling back and forth, he'll tire out.
Yeah.
And he'll probably just pass out in the bottom of the canoe for the most part. So.
I would think so.
That's
awesome.
It's the hope, at least.
Right? So we talked briefly, right? Backstage about kind of what's coming up, and we're going to Glacier in September. You guys got something going out west, right? Mm-hmm. What's going on there?
So this year, we're not doing a big expedition. We were supposed to do one, but then we got invited to a bunch of weddings. So, doing the adult thing. And
everyone's getting married now.
Yeah. My cousin and one of my best buddies and I'm in the wedding party, so I can't really say no. And they're also within a week of each other, but they're on pretty much opposite sides of the country. So my cousin's out in Edmonton, and then my buddy's down in Windsor. So I have a week between the two of them. So thinking we're going to delay our big, Tundra, Taiga, Hudson's Bay coast expedition for another year. We're going to go out west instead, and we're going to road trip. So we're going to do some backpacking in grasslands, go to the Badlands. We're going to paddle bow run canoe route for a couple of days there too. Then we're going to go down into Montana, Wyoming, Dakotas.
Okay.
So we'll do a lot of smaller stuff, but we got some nice 4 to 5 day sort of night stays in the backcountry. And then we're also doing a bit of a honeymoon thing that we never got to do because of COVID.
It's
Right.
COVID.
And we're staying up in some mountain lodges and resorts too.
Oh,
Nice.
that sounds awesome.
A mix of
When you-
backcountry and front country.
Yeah, when you come home, are you gonna kind of come up through Michigan then, and then go back up that way?
Yeah.
No, coming home, we're gonna go down through Illinois and then the southern
We're
part
co-
of Michigan.
Yeah, we're coming through. I wanted to do the Upper Peninsula.
Yeah, that's what I
It was gonna
mean.
be it was gonna be a huge, like it was gonna be a couple hour detour from where we needed to do
Yeah.
up to, and then we're going through like Detroit, through like Windsor.
Oh, you're going
Oh,
that
going
way.
that
Okay, so you're not
Okay.
okay. All right.
Yeah, but I've been through the Upper Peninsula. I
Gorgeous.
did a
I want to go to Upper Peninsula. Like,
Well,
it's a
you have to
beautiful
come
spot.
visit us when we get our place there. Definitely.
Yes,
Yes.
100%.
I was gorgeous. I'm big into trees. It's a big draw for me on the landscape. And there's some gorgeous old growth white pine and old growth sugar maples up on the UP.
Gorgeous.
So
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Especially especially on the west side.
There is of the.
Yes.
You mean? Yeah. Absolutely, for
What's-
sure.
What's that canoe area out near that way?
Oh, you talking on the backwaters?
The Boundary Waters.
Boundary waters.
No, not Boundary Waters.
No,
It's
not near Quetico.
It's Michigan and Michigan and
dude.
the state near Wisconsin or something like that.
Well,
It's,
yeah, Wisconsin butts up to the UP. Yeah.
Yeah, Michigan.
there's a backcountry paddling area up in there that I've eyed if I'm ever driving through there too. The name's not ringing a bell, but
Is it the Porcupine Mountains?
no, but that looks really awesome too.
Right.
The hiking's awesome up there.
So what we
Let's
backpacked
see,
Isle Royal,
there's
right?
Ironwood.
Oh, nice. How was it?
Amazing. But you can
Oops.
also we're really fuzzy all of a sudden here.
Here,
Yeah.
I'll get us back and forth.
There we go.
Our
But,
friends that are visiting us are from Thunder Bay, so they're just near Ile Royal.
yeah, from the Canadian side. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I think it's 15 miles from Canada.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's
closer
super
to-
close. It's super
I know.
close.
But I mean, we ran into paddlers, right, that have, canoed Isle Royal. So you should put that on your list. Like that's pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah, we would love
You know
to,
what I
like.
mean?
I used to be really afraid of big water. Like
Yeah.
when we did Superior, I was actually quite anxious the entire time.
It's emotional for sure.
It was just really scary to me. And now that like as I've grown as a paddler and as I've grown with Brad and just like learning our own safety and just our own comfort on the open water,
Mhm.
all I find myself doing is craving Lake Superior, which when I finished our Lake Superior trip, I never thought I would.
Right.
So
And
now
now you
I was
just love
like,
it.
we should finish doing the rest of Lake Superior.
And you're like, what?
Well, because we did like basically like what Wawa to Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay.
We've done Sault Ste. Marie all the way to Pick Mobert, like past Marathon, basically. Like,
Okay.
and now I'm like, let's just keep going. Like, let's go all the rest. Like, because
You have a lot to do.
I know, but I really love it. Like,
We've done
I
a third of the lake.
fell in love with Lake Superior, and I never thought I
Yeah.
would on that big water. So
But open water crossings are always hairy. I mean, we did the biggest open water crossing straight shot ever this past summer. We did a 9.8 kilometer to a peninsula, but it's still the same lake. And then we had another 6K after
another
that.
6 kilometers after that.
So
So it was technically like a 15-kilometer
Shush
open
up.
water crossing. Yeah,
the largest lake in
Wow.
Quebec.
it was insane. It was
Okay.
one of those situations where when you look around, you can't see land.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
No
that's-
thanks.
We
I'm
just got so lucky. It was one of these days where it was
Dead
just
calm.
dead calm. And the entire time you're canoeing it, you're like, this is so great, but like, is something gonna happen?
Yeah,
I know, right? Paddle faster.
No, we were windbound the day
Windbound.
before, but yeah, no, and it was amazing. And that's when I had one of these moments when I was with Brad and we were canoeing across this like big open water crossing. I was like, oh my God, I've grown so much as a paddler that I'm not afraid. Like,
That's
I love
amazing.
this. Like, this is so like comforting being actually out here in this open water.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of
totally-
cool.
That's so awesome.
It is awesome. The other thing too is you just said it about being windbound. Do you like to take like a 0 day at all? Or do you just like every day's get up, pack up camp, let's go?
So on the big trips, if we're doing a trip that's over a week in length, then we start factoring in rest days.
Yeah.
Because I like to go, and I have a background in racing where I just go for days nonstop.
Right on.
You don't sleep. So that's the extreme end of things. But I also use canoeing as my vacation time. We do like to relax and enjoy the sights a little bit, but
Right.
we also get a little antsy if it's too easy and if we've stopped a little while, because we are very much of like, we like to see all the scenery change. We like to see the landscapes evolve as we paddle, see new challenges. So we're constantly trying to just keep moving to experience more things, because everyone has a different pace, right?
Absolutely.
Sure.
So there's no right and wrong way of tripping as long as you're getting out there. But if we're gonna have a rest day, it's if we're doing a trip over a week generally.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
And then we'll factor that in because, after about 7 days, even 5 days, if you're doing a hard trip, your muscles are going to start to feel it. And that rest day, honestly, the next day after that, you feel so recharged. It's like the best.
You do recharge your batteries.
Yeah.
Absolutely. For sure.
Yeah. So,
You
totally.
can do your laundry and that's the day that we'll have like an afternoon cocktail and, maybe
Right.
stay up a little later the night before because, we get a sleep in. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Get some fishing in
Or whatever that is. Y'all relax.
To.
Absolutely.
So a question for you. When taking these trips and you're going to be dealing with whitewater and stuff like that, what's the criteria in looking for the proper canoe?
Proper canoe. Well, you're definitely going to want to make sure it's one of the more rugged expedition worthy hulls. So right now in the market, there's what's what you call like a hull layup. So if you're new to canoeing, you look at a canoe and say, well, they all look the same. It's a boat, right? But they're all different. So they all have different factors to consider. The first one to consider is layup, which is the material itself that the canoe is made out of. And like the main ones that you can find now is Tough Stuff Expedition, which is like a basalt and a negra weave. It's kind of like what they use in bulletproof vests. It's stiff, it's responsive, it's very durable. It's coated in a gel coat, which can flake off, but you can repair the gel coat pretty easily. So long as the weave itself. Yeah, the weave itself, the gel coat can get damaged, doesn't matter. You can make big gouges, but it's the weave underneath you want to protect. The other hull that we have now is a plastic hull, which is T4MX, which basically replaces all the Royal X hulls, which is a plastic material. So it's a little slower to move, but it kind of bounces over the rocks and stuff too. Both are exceptional materials. I've used both of them, but as big Novacraft fans, we are really been impressed with Tough Stuff. It's definitely our go-to hull.
Yeah.
But the other thing to consider is the type of canoe. So they all have different names. You have your company name, and then there's like a model, much like a car, right?
Right.
Sure.
And the Prospector model is like a universal sort of design pretty much across all brands. And that's like, the workhorse canoe that you're going to want to look
Corolla.
to. Well, it's the Corolla with 4x4, babes.
Yeah, Corolla with 4x4.
More like a Tacoma.
Okay, but aren't you guys a Subaru owners though? Don't you guys have a Subi?
I'm a
Subaru.
I have a Sierra.
All right, we're Subaru people too.
Yes.
But yeah, I know it's great. It's definitely you call it that. It's like your Impreza then.
It's the Impreza.
Or your Outback.
Like it's the It's like the workhorse. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like
We have a Forester.
Nice.
There you go. So you get these things in the front and the stern where the flare is. You call that rocker, and the more rocker you have, the more white water you can kind of shred through because that basically gives you more bow clearance. But there's a trade-off. The higher the rocker, the more wind resistance you get from side winds. So there's a lot of different factors to consider when you're trying to look for a canoe. And if you talk to any manufacturer, they'll give you a bunch of specs and stuff. But the best go-to hull is a Prospector because it will handle anything from big open lakes to whitewater rapids. But then if you want to get into more like specialty, just pure whitewater boats, there are definitely hulls like Novacraft is a Moisey.
Yeah.
Skiff has their Canyon.
Yeah.
But tons of brands have different models and makes.
Right.
Your best bang for your buck is to find a prospector canoe from one of the reputable companies out there.
And do you think it's enough room for 2 packs and a dog?
Yeah.
So they come in different sizes. We have a 16-foot one.
Okay.
And we can have up to 3 packs in there and the 2 of us, and we don't touch the weight capacity on there. I think ours holds up to 1,800 pounds, something like that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You have the tough stuff expedition one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got a little more.
60, 65 pounds.
Yeah, something like that. We have outfitting on ours. So I think it's like 58 without, and then I think the outfitting adds. So outfitting, we have skid plates on the bow and the stern to protect against smashing rocks on the rapid, or even when you're beaching. Then I've got D-rings on the inside of the hull for thigh straps, so that you don't get airborne when you're going over crazy rapids. It kind of locks you in place.
Oh, really?
Never
like
knew that was a thing.
We didn't know that was a thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then there's a spray deck that we have on top that basically kind of prevents large amounts of water coming. You're still going to get water and fill up. I mean, if you flip in a spray deck, it's not like you're not having a deck like a kayak, but it prevents water from coming in. So when you're doing big, long runs or big, crazy, pushy waves, it's a little more forgiving.
Yeah.
So I think that pops ours up to around 68 pounds for the prospector. But if you took all that off, I think it's around 55, 58 pounds. So
not terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
Don't make muscles, honey. You're going to be just fine.
Yeah. I mean, I got Brian.
Right. Exactly. And I'm a pack mule. I mean, I can carry a lot on my back. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not good with the canoe. Can I ask a question from the couple that does not have good internet tonight? So they had emailed us earlier. So Rob and Sabrina, who is the Ontario camping couple, they were on our show a couple of weeks ago, and they are doing an 8-month in and out trip in and around Ontario and through Canada. And they leave in 4 days on their first 10-day excursion.
Nice.
They just got their very first canoe. They actually went and did Paddle Like a Girl. They had like a little session with Tori.
Oh, nice.
I know. So they're awesome. So they had 27 questions. And then they're like, I know, they were so excited. And they were like, we're going to narrow it down to 4. So
yeah, that was Sabrina
I know. That was Sabrina telling Rob, narrow it down to 4. So one is, they said, the QE2W. We are entering from the Black River. What lakes would you recommend?
They're on the Black River. Oh, so if they're paddling the Black River, they're pretty much stuck to the Black River, because that's on the west side of the park.
Okay.
By Victoria Falls. So you can do some paddling up there. Ragged Rapids is pretty cool to check out.
Okay.
But if you kind of hike around the Victoria Falls Ragged Rapids area on the Ganaraska hiking trail, there's a lot of great spots to check out. Highly recommend going down to Cranberry Lake on the south end of it. There's a nice set of falls down there too. You get a lot more of the barren landscape that the Wildlands is sort of known for in that part of the park too. The main canoeing in Queen Elizabeth to Wildlands, which is what it stands for, is out in the eastern side of things, and that's off the Head River. And if you do some paddling out there, my recommendation for the best lakes to get into, Loon, Freshette, Jordan's, Scrabble, and Clear. Those are the ones that have people. So if you're going to get into the Wildlands, those are the ones to get to. It's a little more work to get into there, but obviously work means less people. So
and Brad and his dad are the ones who made Queen Elizabeth Wildlands II an actual provincial park.
Oh.
So Brad,
yay!
No, we mapped
it, and he is an advocate for the park becoming an actual park. So when he says he knows where the best place to go, he knows it. Because
I feel like he knows it. Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing that.
He will be humble about it, but I won't be.
No, you have to shout that out. Absolutely. So the other question just quickly was the Larder River trip. Would you recommend it for a tandem couple who are a novice and intermediate canoeist with no whitewater skills?
So Larder, if you do it later in the year, if you do this section
Yeah.
I don't know what the lake is on the north because we started off. What was it? Was it Larder Lake?
Yeah, we
Yeah, we
started
started
on
Larder Lake. But
Okay.
there's another lake that you don't have to do.
Raven
Lake. Yeah, if you start at Raven Lake and you go down to Windigo, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
That portion is somewhat maintained by Ontario Parks, and there's amazing trails.
Gorgeous.
Around every obstacle. The most rapids you'll have to run is like a class 1 Swift where like it doesn't matter if you have miscommunications, you bump and grind.
Yeah.
Don't do it when we did it, which was May or June. It was June.
We did it in the first week in June.
Don't do it then if you want to.
If you're like a beginner, don't do it then because there still is some like advanced communication that you need to learn. But if you are like a novice and you like just go later in the year when the water isn't moving quite as
July or
fast.
August. Yeah.
And but the good news is there are established trails around all the rapids that we ran.
That's really good.
So like if you take a look and you're like, not feeling it, then you can just do the trail. But if you are, you know that like it's a safe route. You know
go for it. That's it. That's awesome. Oh, thank you for asking those questions. And then actually Matt Hippies has one here too. Is the Prospector good for 2 hippies that have never been canoeing? We want to add this to the bucket list.
So for sure, like I said, it comes in different sizes, ranging from 15 to 18 feet. I think some companies actually make them up to like 21 feet. But it's a universal design. Like I said, it's the best canoe that kind of marries stability with like capacity and everything else. So if you're new to paddling,
it's our workhorse.
I'd say getting a Prospector. There's probably a couple more stable boats, but if you also want to buy a boat, then to use it for other stuff, because the learning curve, once you get past a bit of it, the advanced parts get a little steep, but getting into it, if you can kind of find your stability, find your groove, I think that's the best boat you can start off with, to be honest. And we've paddled tons of different models.
Right. They have 2 Chihuahuas too. So I think they'll pack in just nicely. No problem there, right?
Yeah, I had a Zoom meeting with Kevin a week ago in regards to, because I wanted to get some more insight on canoes and him being an avid Nova Craft guy.
Which is my hometown because I'm from London, Ontario originally, right?
So is he.
I grew up outside of there.
Right. And aren't you a CQE kid?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. My kids went to Camp Queen Elizabeth too.
No way.
Yeah.
That's part of my history of getting into paddling.
That is what brought Brad, like, it has been a foundational piece of your upbringing.
Oh, yeah. An out trip and stuff too, because it was based out of the Bob Hayward Y in London back in the day. I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah. I grew up in Delaware, Ontario, so that's southeast outside of there. So my parents are still. Yeah, my parents are still in Strathroy.
His parents are in Strathroy.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I went to high school in Strathroy.
It's a little world here in Canada.
It is too, as big as it is.
We like to think we're big, but we are quite small.
No, and I was gonna say what's really fun is that as many different people that we've chatted with, like with Backcountry Cup, we always have a connection with people. Like it's kind of fun, and I love that. I absolutely love that. It really is. It really is. Oh God! And actually, go ahead.
So I was saying, I had that Zoom meeting with Kevin, and it was quite interesting, and him being an avid Nova Craft guy.
And he was excited there too. Darren has another question. He said, hoping to do the Larder in August. We'll have to pick your brains about the route a little bit. Well, there you go. You have to connect with them then, Darren, for sure.
I'll send him some details.
Honestly, the Larder River was one of these trips that was kind of an unexpected, unexpected treat. Like we thought, we knew it was going to be good, but it was one of these spots where we were like, holy crap, this is like we're getting like Northwestern Ontario, like Wabakimi vibes here in Northeastern Ontario, and it's accessible. Like this is like amazing. And it was just such a beautiful little spot that's like a hidden piece of Northeastern Ontario that is quite accessible to the greater Toronto area, which we know there's a lot of people that come up from that spot, but yeah, like it's a great spot.
I feel like it's going to be a hit this summer with a lot of people. It's going to be on the hit list. You know what I mean?
Right? I can never feel into that. Actually, there's
a couple of people have approached us about it already. So I feel like it's maybe a little busier than you're used to.
Right, and you're going to expect exactly. So go ahead.
No, I was gonna say one thing about you two is that you guys just don't canoe a lot. You guys, winter camp and you hike and stuff like that. I mean, we've watched, seen you guys do some winter camping and such. And
you guys did a hike in to like a little cabin.
Yes.
Isabel.
Oh,
Out in Quebec.
in
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? We did that here too in Michigan. Oh my God, it was so gorgeous.
It's nice. So I don't have a hot tent, like I cold tent.
Right.
Because it's lighter.
Right.
I can pack things in my bulk sled and just go.
Yeah.
And I'm very much a, move sort of guy where I know quite a few people, and we've tripped with a lot of different vloggers or folks who, just paddle or hike or whatever. Everyone's got a different style, but our style tends to be
manpower.
Yeah, go and see as much as you can do, and we just love the trek. So cold tending's our style, but getting to a cabin is just unreal because you don't need to bring your shelter with you. I mean, you have an emergency shelter, always carry something like that, but you get to this cabin and everything's set up. It's amazing.
That's one of the most amazing things about Quebec. Like Quebec, their version of Ontario parks or their provincial park system, it's called CPAC. It is brilliant. First of all their parks are basically year round, and they have these beautiful little primitive cabins that are gorgeous. They just have like a bunk bed, beautiful wood stove, and an actual camping stove, barbecue out front, and a fire pit. All of that for $89.
Seriously, right? I know. It's like,
you know what I mean?
Like the best.
That's a no-brainer.
It's the best of both worlds. It really
you can, and when you book one of those cabins in the summer, you automatically get a free canoe rental. So you don't even have to have a canoe to get there.
Like ours, yeah.
Or in the winter,
I know.
And in the winter, you can snowshoe in, and you can pay like $5 to have them snowmobile all your gear in for you.
Shut up.
Yeah. So
that's a no-brainer.
The Quebec park system is brilliant. Like, highly encourage everyone who's watching to just flood the Quebec park system for, to enjoy the beautifulness of Quebec, because they know what's up. Ontario, our park system's not quite there yet. I will 100%.
We got a lot of great stuff.
We've got good stuff, but we're not as great as Quebec.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I was one of the was watching. Oh, yeah, Brad, when you're with David, you went up to was it Killarney?
Oh, with David Pursued Pastor?
Yeah.
Oh my God, is he the nicest guy ever?
Hiking the peak.
We've been to Killarney a couple times with him. I've done Silver Peak quite a few times.
Silver Peak.
That's what it was.
Yeah, which is a really cool spot because, like, in Southern Ontario, it's just, you get these sort of mountains that kind of pop out of nowhere. Now, folks out west are going to say they're not
mountains. Yeah.
They're hills.
But like, they've got a decent amount of prominence, and they rise above the landscape. So they're quite a cool spot to check out. But yeah, did a winter trip up in there, Silver Peak. I did a lot of paddling with them. I haven't done much recently, but over the years, we've done quite a lot of cool routes together too. But winter camping, Killarney, great area to do some hiking, backpacking, winter camping. And then anywhere else, really. I mean, sky's the limit.
Yeah.
It's like I said, so many places and not enough time.
I know. Okay, so yesterday you had your Tishigami, right? Tishigami.
Well, trust me, we stumbled over that name for days.
Right? I know. So you're not a premiere, but you had your bit of this is it. Hey, the trailer.
The teaser.
Yeah, the teaser, right? So that's coming out, kind of the docu-series. Everybody needs to obviously check out Explore the Backcountry. And all your social medias, my God, you guys are like on everything.
Yeah.
Like, please. How do you keep up with everything? It's so busy.
I don't post as much these days, and that's just maybe
it's hard. You know what I mean? Your YouTube, your Facebook, your Insta, your website. I think you're on Twitter. Are you on TikTok? Like, I don't even know. Like, it's crazy.
Slow your roll there, girl.
I know. So John's gonna put
I'll drop all your links from all your social media.
Don't use Leah's Instagram right now.
I have been hacked. So
That's
nobody
I saw that. Terrible.
Yeah.
It's
so
a Nigerian who owns our Instagram right now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't link you to any of this kind of stuff with like your Instagram, unfortunately, but whatever. But yeah, that sucks, right? How do I get out of that?
The rest of us is all real, though.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not into Bitcoin, and I do not need any favors. Okay, everyone. So
Right.
Or I don't need your telephone number.
So
starting a new Instagram account.
And then you have Teespring, right? Like people can buy Explore the Backcountry merch, right? Which is cool. I mean, this sticker game is really big. I feel like in like the backcountry world, like everyone's like got it on their bear boxes and their bear barrels and their windows and whatever it is. So
we deco bomb everything, and I hear Dennis has got from Canoe Hound Adventures has got quite the little shop going on there too.
We gotta get his. We have to have some of his sticker quality because it's top notch. So
you totally should use his shop. Yeah, absolutely. We haven't done that because it's a little more expensive for us to cross the border to do that, obviously. But you totally should. So everybody, check out Brad and Leah. Did you put it in the chat there, honey?
Yeah, I got
all their stuff in there.
I got their YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and website.
Right. And then this was fun. Like, and it's about being the backcountry couple. You know what I mean? Like, we can talk about trips all day long, but I mean, it's all about the connection and
having
fun, making a good pina colada in the backcountry.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with having a nice, simple scotch or whiskey by the campfire either.
That's true. I mean, that's really good too. But I mean, I might have to up my game a little bit. I don't know.
A little precursor for the Tishigami. I made painkillers on this last trip. So.
What? Okay, no spoiler.
Whoa.
That's it.
They tasted really good, but maybe it's because I was tired. But they were.
Hey, they were delicious.
No, they were fantastic. Fantastic.
Oh my God, that's awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh,
it's great, guys. Thanks.
It was fun.
So much for having us.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Oh my
gosh. Was a lot of fun. Absolutely.
Totally our pleasure. I mean,
and we're happy to chat paddling or backcountry or whatever any day. So
absolutely. And when you cross into this way, whatever, definitely.
Or we cross them that.
that way too. You know what I mean?
I want to learn how to whitewater.
We should connect and because I don't know when your out west trip's gonna coincide with ours, if it does or doesn't, whatever that looks like. But if not, hey, when we get into Michigan and up there rather. So
we are in Michigan.
I'm up there in the UP, honey. In the upper, in the UP. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I got lots of intel on routes just north of you there too, so we can always. The schedule works out. We should meet up and do something at some point.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, when we come over in June, we're definitely going to be stopping in at NovaCraft and talking to them.
Oh
again,
yeah.
So.
Well, because we're going to see. Yes.
Well, I want custom colors. So
we want to just do something a little custom. So we'll see. But
they do cool stuff.
I feel like
they are amazing to work with. Honestly, like NovaCraft, we are so lucky to be able to work with them and partner with them. But they're just wonderful people.
Yeah, good. I think they're going to be awesome for sure. I'm excited. And the other thing about our trip too is that we're actually
which one?
So to our Algonquin trip. So we're going to take my two guys who went to Camp Queen Elizabeth, Dylan and Dalton. So we're going to go on a little canoe trip with them. So I'm excited for that.
That'll be so fun.
When was the last time Dalton's gone camping with us 3 years ago.
Yeah.
When was the last time Dylan's gone?
It's been a while since they've all been out. So yeah, it's crazy stuff. Yeah. Anyways, you guys have been lovely. Thank you so much. Everybody, please go check out Explore the Backcountry.
Yes.
Real deal.
I got all of their social media contact connections in the chat. So
yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Yes.
Hang tight. All right, hang tight, guys.
Hang tight.
That was fun.
I know. We have notes again. I have notes on notes.
We got notes on notes.
I know. I love that.
We got a lot of, there's a lot of, like I can't say it enough. There's so much to do and so little time to do it.
Yes, I know. But
thank you everyone for joining us
Yeah,
tonight. It was
thank you.
another awesome show.
And I always can't believe how quickly it goes. Like
I know it's like
Again.
almost an hour and 45 minutes.
I know, and I don't even know how it goes on so quickly, but it's just conversation, it's information sharing, and
Good
the
conversation goes
chat's
by in a
always
blink.
exciting.
Goes by in a blink of an eye, and I can feel
And
it could have gone another hour.
I
easily.
feel like it's
Well,
yeah, I
maybe
know.
not. I'm out of beer.
Yeah, oh, I'll hook you up, honey. I'll hook you up.
Well, that's nice.
I know. Anyways,
What
everybody
a
enjoyed the show tonight,
house
which is wonderful.
supportive. Yeah.
So
Oh my gosh, we didn't even say what we're doing this weekend.
we didn't. So actually, one of the questions we were going to ask Brad and Leah, and we never did, was about kind of safety in the backcountry.
Yeah. We could have that for another episode.
We can. So, but what we were going to chat about is actually tomorrow, John and I, because
and Saturday.
2 days. So one is because we do a lot of backcountry, obviously backpacking. We
do hiking, more hiking than anything.
Right. Canoeing, overlanding that takes us to like in a backcountry location. Moving off grid, right, to a location where we may not be as accessible. We're actually taking a 2-day wilderness first aid course tomorrow and Saturday. So we're a little pumped for that.
Oh, it's
I know we have homework to do actually after this too. We have a little bit of little reading before our class tomorrow.
We got to do some studying.
Yeah.
So it's 2 full days from, I think we got to be at class at 9 a.m. and it goes till 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So
so
it's the equivalent of justice from what I've told and been read, what I've read and been told. It's just a step down from full-fledged EMS training. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. So we got some stuff. I'm excited. So I think it's going to be.
We got lectures tomorrow, and then Saturday is full day of scenarios.
It's all practical stuff on Saturday. So anyways, excited for that. So thanks for hanging out with us.
Everybody, you all have a great day tomorrow.
Happy Friday.
I'm not working. And hopefully you don't have to either. Have a great weekend.
Thanks for hanging out again for Backcountry Couples. We have another one again next Thursday.
We do. You know who they are? Tune in on Monday.
That's right. Stick around.
All right, y'all.
Awesome. All right.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks so much, everybody. Cheers for hanging out.
And we'll see you all on the next one.
Yeah, you will.
Peace out, Cub Scouts.